Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a step back to honor the life and the tragically short yet absolutely brilliant career of 25-year-old South African footballer Jayden Adams. Let's just dive straight into this because the story of this young man is one of incredible highs on the global stage, immense talent, and ultimately a deeply heartbreaking loss for the sporting world. We'll be walking through his journey, his achievements, and the really profound impact he left on everyone who knew him best.
You know, to really grasp the sheer magnitude of this loss, we just need to look at the global reaction. This wasn't just a local sports story. It reached the absolute top of the footballing world. FIFA President Gianni Infantino expressed the profound shock felt globally, pointing out the heartbreaking timing of it all, just weeks after Adams featured in South Africa's historic 2026 FIFA World Cup campaign. The entire global football community was just completely stunned by the sudden departure of the Bafana Bafana star.
Section 1. A tragic and sudden loss.
The details, as they were reported, are brief, and honestly, just devastating. The news that completely shattered the football fraternity broke on a quiet Saturday morning in July 2026. Jayden Adams was found to have passed away at the incredibly young age of 25, at his home in Stellenbosch. According to the reports we have, he allegedly took his own life. It's a stark, somber reality, one that left millions of fans, teammates, and loved ones desperately grappling for answers and mourning a remarkably bright future that was cut inexplicably short.
Moving to Section 2, Global and National Tributes.
Almost immediately after the news broke that Saturday morning, the silence was quickly filled by a massive outpouring of grief. South Africa's Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, released a deeply emotional statement. He emphasized that the nation hadn't just lost a player, but one of its brightest young talents. But what really stands out here is his focus on Adams' depth of character and his professionalism. McKenzie wasn't just mourning a skilled athlete on the pitch, he was mourning a young man of immense caliber who had grown all the way from a local academy prospect into a full-fledged international star.
And the guys he actually shared the pitch with? They felt the exact same way. The South African Football Players Union, or SAFPU, highlighted how he carried the hopes of an entire nation with pride, courage, and distinction. They called his passing an immeasurable loss. It's so clear that Adams wasn't just a name on a roster. He was a core part of the footballing family, carrying a really heavy national mantle with incredible grace.
Section 3. A meteoric football career.
So let's actually celebrate why he carried all those hopes. We're going to shift our focus now to his incredible, albeit tragically brief achievements on the pitch. His rise was literally meteoric. Let's trace this rapid ascent, shall we? His professional journey truly kicked into gear in August 2020 when he became Stellenbosch FC's very first academy graduate to sign a pro contract. Think about that. Just 3 years later, in 2023, he helps them lift the Carling Knockout Trophy. Obviously, that kind of success catches the eye of the Giants, and in January 2025, he secures a massive move to Mamelodi Sundowns. And then, the absolute pinnacle for any footballer. By 2026, he's stepping onto the pitch at the FIFA World Cup. From a local academy kid to the global stage in just 6 years.
But here's the thing. His success wasn't just handed to him, it was built on a massive foundation of hard work and deep loyalty. To put this into perspective, look at this number, 139. That is the total number of appearances he made for the Winelands team, Stellenbosch FC, before he ever made his big transfer. He definitely wasn't a flash in the pan. He put in the hours, the tough games, and the daily grind for his boyhood club, proving his reliability and his immense value week in and week out.
And the reward for all that grinding? An absolutely staggering haul of medals for someone so young. I mean, beyond the 2023 Carling Knockout, once he arrived at Mamelodi Sundowns, he added a 2025 Betway Premiership title and a massive 2026 CAF Championships crown to his resume. And we absolutely can't forget the international stage either. He was a key part of the South Africa squad that claimed bronze at the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations in the Ivory Coast. The sheer magnitude of this level of success by age 25 is just extraordinary.
But you know, he wasn't just some machine collecting medals. He was a hugely beloved personality in the locker room. During his time flourishing at Cloracop with Sundowns, he actually earned the affectionate nickname Grootman. It was kind of a playful nod to his new bald haircut, sure, but it was also about his commanding, mature presence in the midfield. It just shows this great touch of warmth and highlights the blossoming personality of a young guy who is truly coming into his own among his peers.
So,
All of this builds up to the ultimate milestone, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Adams wasn't just sitting on the bench soaking up the atmosphere, he was an integral part of Bafana Bafana's historic run. Step 1, he featured in all 3 of South Africa's Group A matches. Step 2, his critical contributions helped the team finish second in their group, which allowed them to qualify for the knockout stage for the first time in 4 attempts. And Step 3 was that historic round of 32 appearance where they ultimately bowed out to tournament co-hosts Canada. He was right there in the mix, making history on the biggest stage of all.
Section 4. The Family Man. Because behind the groupman nickname and all those World Cup appearances, there was a private life that deeply grounded him. There was actually a really sharp contrast between his 2 worlds. On one hand, you have the public persona we've just been talking about, the midfield maestro, the national hero being showered with accolades, but on the other, his fiercely private life. He was a devoted partner to Akela Andorf and a father to a 5-year-old daughter. In fact, reports note that when he was making that massive, life-changing career move from Stellenbosch to Sundowns, he sat down and discussed it with Akela and their daughter before finalizing anything. He just deeply, deeply valued his family support.
And you can see how unwavering that support was. This incredibly beautiful, moving message was shared by Akela on Instagram stories right before South Africa's opening 2026 World Cup match against Mexico. She told him how proud she was of everything he'd worked for, telling him to go out and show the world what he was capable of. But it's that phrase, safest place, that really strikes a chord, isn't it? It reminds us that behind every elite, high-performing athlete is a human being who desperately needs a sanctuary away from the immense, unrelenting pressures of the spotlight.
Which brings us to our final section, an enduring legacy.
Because, right alongside all the triumphs and the immense love of his family, there was also this unseen resilience, a quiet strength in the face of some really profound personal struggles. To understand that resilience, we have to return to a story shared by Minister McKenzie. During a Bafana match against Czechia over in Atlanta, McKenzie noticed how unusually quiet Jayden seemed on the bench after being subbed out in the second half. Well, it was only later that the world learned Jayden had taken the field that day carrying the fresh, raw grief of losing his grandmother, Mariana. She had passed away just hours before kickoff. When McKenzie reached out to him afterward, he noted that Jayden's completely humble response, that he chose to wear the national jersey and give his absolute all despite the agonizing pain, spoke to a level of professionalism and maturity way, way beyond his 25 years. And I guess that leaves us here. We've traced the incredible heights of Jayden Adams' career, the pure joy he brought to millions of fans, and the deep love he shared with his family. But his sudden passing really forces us to look beyond the medals and the highlight reels. As we celebrate his undeniable brilliance on the pitch, I want to leave you with this question to think about. How can the sports world actually better protect the minds of its brightest young stars? The intense, unseen pressures they carry every single day are profound. Jayden Adams' legacy is one of spectacular footballing talent and unquestionable dedication, for sure. But it's also a stark reminder to look a little closer and care a little deeper for the athletes who give us their all. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.